Hi Algebra 1. So in our video today we're going to look at some application problems, and we're on page 295 in your binder. So you're going to pause the video and open up to that page. When we are using a system of equations to solve a application problem, one of the things you're going to look for is information in the problem that gives you hints about kind of what kind of equations to write. So typically we're going to write either a slope-intercept form or standard form. And slope-intercept form usually has some sort of rate, like looking for the word per, like dollars per day, and then some sort of like initial starting amount, like a one-time fee. Versus something for standard form would be two different items and costs or total number of items. So there are some problems on this page that you can look through to try to think about what form is best, but I think it's better for us to just jump in and start trying to do some problems. So we're going to flip to the next page. On the next page here, 296, now we get to actually do some problems. So another local coffee shop problem. This time the membership is $50 and then $3 per cup of coffee. But if you don't get the membership, coffee costs $5 per cup. So let's set this up here. What we're going to do is we're going to define our variables, and the way we do that is to try to figure out like what are the two things we're measuring, and usually somewhere in the problem it gives you a hint. And I see this hint here in write a system of equations to find the total amount spent as a function of the number of cups of coffee purchased. Right, and so the total amount is usually the y value variable. So we would say, total amount of money, and x would be the number of cups of coffee. And so for the club member, our total amount of coffee, or total amount of cost, is going to equal $3 per cup of coffee. So that's your slope, right? 3x plus $50 for the yearly membership, so plus 50. You only pay the $50 once, but for the $3 you pay it every time you get a cup of coffee, so that's why that has to be multiplied by x. If you don't have the membership, we know that the total costs is $5 per cup of coffee, so 5x, and then there's no monthly, there's no yearly membership, so it's just y equals 5x. You could even say plus 0 if you wanted. So clearly, if you buy enough coffee, the membership's going to be better because you're saving $2 per cup of coffee. But how much coffee do you have to buy? Right? So we look at our two equations, and we can solve this using substitution. Right? Since both equations equal y, I can set them equal to each other. And so I'll take that second equation and plug it into the first one for y, since y is the same as 5x. So we write 5x equals 3x plus 50, and now I can subtract 3x from both sides, and we get 2x equals 50 divided by 2, x equals 25. So we now know that the number of cups of coffee is 25. That's where they'll be the same. And then to figure out y, we have to plug that back in. So we can say y equals 5 times 25, and y equals 125. So when we have 25 cups of coffee, the costs are the same at $125 total. All right, for number 8, we've got the problem about Luna Carpet here. I'm sure you are thinking of the phone number and the commercials. So notice there's a little typo in part A, got copied from the previous one. So it's the system equation to find the total cost as a function of the number of square feet of carpeting purchased. And so we have this information, 4 and 95, 6 and 75. And so let's write our variables here, where y, again, we're talking about the total cost. So if we have a total, that's going to be y, so total cost. And then x is as a function of the number of square feet. Okay, so for Luna, we know our total cost is going to be $4 per square foot for x plus the $95 installation fee. Empire is y equals, the total cost equals $6 per square foot plus a $75 installation fee. So take a second here. Just like last problem, we have the two equations, they're both y equals. So I want you to pause the video and try to solve this system. Alright, let's check your answer here. You should set the two equations equal to each other, and as you go through and solve it, make sure you follow the steps. We get x is 10 and y is 135. So if you have 10 square feet of carpeting, you're going to have the same total cost for both of 135. So now let's look at part C and D. C says if you're redoing the stairs 8 square feet of carpeting, which company would you choose? Well, right now, I know that they're same cost at 10 square feet, and this is less than 10. So which one would you pick? I guess we got to kind of check and see. If we do y equals 4 times 8 plus 95, so if I tried the first one, that would be 32 plus 95, which is 127, versus the second one, y equals 6 times 8 plus 75, that would be 48 plus 75, which would be 123, and these are dollars, right? So I can clearly see that I would choose the second one, that was Empire. But what we can see is that that slope, that $6 per square foot, as we get bigger and bigger, that's going to eventually make the cost for Empire more expensive, right? So eventually, even though the $95 for Luna is a bigger installation cost, it's better to have that $4 per square foot price if you're paying more carpeting, right? And so paying for more carpeting. So in part D, 120 square feet of carpet, which company would you choose? Well, we're going to choose the one with the lower per square foot cost, which would be Luna. Right, and so if we did y equals 4 times 120 plus 95, that would be 480 plus 95, which would be $575. Alright, let's try another. In 11 here, no, excuse me, in 9, sorry, problem 9, inline skates and bicycles. Inline skates cost $15 per day and bikes cost $30 per day to rent. One day the business had a total of 25 rentals and made a total of $450. Calculate the number of pairs of skates rented and the number of bicycles rented. So another way that they'll give you the hint of what the variables are is by asking the question. Calculate the number of pairs of skates rented and the number of bicycles rented. And so the things you're trying to find, those are your variables. So my x is going to be number of skates or pairs, and then y number of bicycles. Okay, so then I need to use the information to get two equations. Well, I feel like the easier equation is the one that talks about the dollars, right? I know skates are 15, bikes are 30, and total of 450. Those numbers all go together, and you can see value, that's my value equation. So if I sold $15 per day for some number of skates, that would be 15x, right? If I sold 2 skates, it would be 15 times 2. If I sold 10 skates, it would be 15 times 10. Plus, however much I get for the bicycles, so 30 times y, and I know that total is 450. That's the amount of money, that's the value equation. And then a second equation I can write actually just comes from the total number, and that's that total of 25 rentals. And this is the one that people forget about, but it's actually the real easy equation, because if I have some amount of skates and some amount of bikes that I sold, well then my total amount is just the skates plus the bikes. So it's literally just x plus y equals 25. Okay, and so now if I take my two equations, part B says to solve the system. So 15x plus 30y equals 450, x plus y equals 25. A couple ways we could solve it. We could do substitution if I got x or y alone in the bottom equation, or we could do elimination. Maybe we'll try that. Let's multiply the bottom equation by negative 15. And so that's going to give me 15x plus 30y equals 450. And the bottom is negative 15x minus 15y equals 15 times 25 is 375, so this would be negative 375. Now we can add those up. X's zap. We get 15y equals 75. If we add the two equations together, right, elimination, divide by 15, and we get y equals 5. And then I can go plug that into my bottom equation, x plus y, x plus 5 equals 25, so y equals 20, which means, x equals 20. X equals 20, so that means we sold 20 pairs of skates and 5 bicycles. I guess it's rented. Okay, I'm gonna let you try 10. What are the two different things we're measuring here? How many of each type of ticket was sold? So we have student tickets and we have general admission tickets. So X is student tickets, Y is GA tickets. And so first, take a second, and I'll put the answer up in a second. Write the two equations, and it's very similar to the equations from problem 9. All right, so you should have a total amount, a quantity equation of just x plus y equals the total, which is 213, and then you have kind of your price equation, your value, 4x plus 7y equals the amount of money, 1146. Now, take those two equations, and I want you to solve them. You could use elimination, you could use substitution, probably want a calculator to help you with those numbers. Try it out, pause the video, check your answer. All right, 115 student tickets, 98 general admission tickets. Check your work here, and then just make sure when we do these word problems, you've got to set up a little sentence answer to answer them in the context of the problem. All right, long video, but thanks for watching.